My name is Sarah Lopez. I am a Texan, a We Testify abortion storyteller, and the youth program manager at Jane's Due Process, where we help young people in Texas navigate parental consent laws and confidentially access abortion and birth control. When the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, removing the constitutional right to abortion, clinics, abortion funds, and advocates weren't surprised, but it didn't make the news any less heart-wrenching. Countless clinics had to tell patients in the waiting room that they could no longer help them. Abortion funds like Jane's Due Process have paused services and are unsure of what, if any, support we can offer. But we are still doing everything we can in accordance with the law to help young people. This didn't happen overnight. Texas lawmakers chipped away at our rights against the outcry and will of the people each legislative session. Even before the Dobbs ruling in Texas, Senate Bill 8 banned abortion past 6 weeks, forcing Texans either to leave the state to get an abortion or remain pregnant against their will. Texas and other states that have banned abortion are ill-equipped to care for families. Crisis pregnancy centers, which are unlicensed, fake clinics designed to trick people out of having abortions, outnumber abortion clinics 3 to 1. In Texas, they receive $50 million a year, diverting money from the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program, meant to help vulnerable families afford food, rent, and childcare. This funding is badly needed for Texas families, but gets wasted on misinformation and lies. I know because I've seen it in action in many of the people that I've supported. I had an abortion almost 6 years ago as I graduated college. I was working in a restaurant, scraping by on $2.15 an hour plus tips. It was so little that I could barely afford my $250 a month rent. When I found out I was pregnant, I knew immediately that I wanted an abortion. But the stigma around abortion made me feel like what was happening to me was beyond my control and yet also somehow my fault. As long as I can remember, Texas has had dozens of restrictions making accessing abortion care much more complex and difficult than it should be. The government-mandated 24-hour delay turned into a 2-week delay when combined with holiday office closures. As a sexual assault survivor, the transvaginal ultrasound that I had to receive was torture. All of this was medically unnecessary and enacted in hopes that I would give up my efforts to receive an abortion. However, after my abortion, I felt immediate relief. I also know how lucky I was. The independent clinic I went to, Austin Women's Health Center, was nearby, and the nurse held my hand during my procedure to make sure that I was comfortable. My boyfriend, who I'm still with, drove me to my appointments and paid for my abortion. My best friend Grace held me in her arms and reassured me that I didn't do anything wrong. Later, I learned that there is an ecosystem of fierce advocates at abortion funds who do everything they can to make sure that people are still able to have a dignified and supportive experience despite the many obstacles they face. We have helped countless people who didn't have a support system, reliable childcare, or any method of transportation. Being forced to leave the state or city or state you live in takes an emotional toll on people. Without basic necessities like reliable phone or internet access, a photo ID, or a bank account, it can feel impossible. But clinics, abortion funds, and practical support organizations are the networks of support which move mountains to ensure that people can still get the care that they need. I never would have dreamed that I would be able to tell people about my abortion, let alone sit before you here today and talk about it. To some extent, I wish I didn't have to talk about something so personal in this setting. But I hope that by being here today, people who currently need abortions know that they're not alone. We deserve better. This is about our right to self-determination. It's about centering pleasure in our struggle for collective liberation and reproductive justice. It's about not leaving people behind. It's about fighting back against the surveillance and subsequent criminalization of pregnancy outcomes. Everyone should have access to the full range of reproductive health care, and that includes abortion. As I close, I want to be clear. This ruling is yet another attempt by lawmakers to eradicate our autonomy and sense of self. But what these same lawmakers don't understand is that no one, no matter how much power you hold, will ever be able to dissolve our community bonds, our capacity to maintain hope amidst so much despair, and our unrelenting love for our people. As we say it, we testify, everyone loves someone who's had abortions. And as you reflect on my testimony, I hope you think about those whom you love. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story with you here today.